All right, I'll wait a minute before I get into it. I started doing this by myself, and then I figured people might want to watch this. But we're gonna do some raid prep because testing starts next week. All right, we can get into it. So we're gonna be looking at some raid bosses. I don't know how many I'm gonna get through tonight. But going based off of the raid schedule, which is this, we have the Dream Rift, and then Aversian, Veracius, and Salhadar are the first 4 bosses on Heroic that we're going to test next week on Wednesday. So I'm going to start going through that list in order just based off of raid testing time and see what we can prepare. Try and read about these bosses, see what they do, try to understand generally how the designing team wants us to sort of handle mechanics. I like to have like a good idea going into testing of what's going to happen so that I'm not like blindsided. And so I can actually test specific things that I want to test, whether it be like mage specific things or understanding like the movement of the fight. Stuff like that gets really helpful to do in testing so that you have a really good idea of what you want to do when it actually goes live. So you can be more prepared when the raid actually comes out and perform well. So I started looking over this boss, and the first thing I did was just read the overview, which kind of makes sense. Basically, what it's saying is this is sort of an ad management fight, and there's sort of 2 phases. I'm not sure how those phases exactly will work out. Obviously, we'll see when it actually goes live or when we actually test it. But effectively, you have a tank hit that is also a group soak that will go out. You can kind of think of this like Forge Weaver, the Forge Weaver soak currently. I don't know if it's going to be like on the tank and they can move it around, or if the tank's going to be like rooted in place or something, or if you want to put these in a specific spot. Not sure about any of that yet. I don't know if it'll leave anything on the ground after or anything. But there's going to be a group soak, and everyone who is in this group soak on the tank is going to, it says like given a buff on site so that they can see the ads, but then the other phase kind of seems like, or the other page kind of seems like it's a different phase entirely. And I'm gathering that by the mythic mechanic, this, which says players periodically inflict damage to all players in the opposing realm within 8 yards of each other. So this sounds like Castle Nathria, final boss, Sire Denathrius, in the last phase in P3 where you're in opposite realms and like going near each other kills you. Effectively that, except it just does damage to each other. So if you're within 8 yards of each other, it does damage. But this also makes me think that they are like fully separate phases. So if you get hit by this group soak that they have, it makes me think that you will actually be in a different phase. And the goal is you send some people down in the group soak, they go down, and then they can hit the ads that are downstairs. The ads all have a shield, I believe is what it is. You need to break that shield. When you break that shield, the ads get sent up into the regular phase. Again, this is all just based off the overview. That's the only thing I've read so far. So the ads, when you break their shield, they go back into reality in the main phase, and then they try to walk to the boss. I don't know, think of that like first boss in Arakara, right? The ads spawn, they try to walk to the boss. If the boss consumes them, he gets a damage buff and he heals for 500% of however much health the ad had left when it reached them. So basically you send some people down, they break the ad shield, the ads pop up, the people who are upstairs then kill the ads before they reach the boss. That sort of seems like what it is. I don't yet understand, because I haven't fully looked into it, what's the penalty for not sending anybody down and just leaving them. What's the penalty for not sending anyone in group soak and just not breaking ads shields downstairs? I just haven't answered this yet. Another question is, can you solo tank soak the group soak? Similar to Nexus King, right? I don't know if I've read the full ability. Let me see. Inflicting damage, split evenly between players within 10 yards of the impact. So, I mean, if the tank could survive this, it sounds like you can soak it. Doesn't do raid wide. Damn, like Forge Weaver. It's soak like Nexus King. So, maybe. Okay, yeah. So that's the main, seems like the main mechanic of phase 1 of the boss is you send people downstairs, they break ad shields, the ads pop up to upstairs, the people upstairs kill the ads before they reach the boss. Maybe you have to CC them as well, who knows. I haven't read anything else about phase 1. I'm sure there's like mechanics that the ads do, maybe when they're downstairs and when they're upstairs. I'm sure there's some dodge mechanics and shit like that. Yeah, whatever. And then there's phase 2, Plexus Sentinel reaches 100 energy. Similar to that, boss will fly into the air, it sounds like, and just do dodge circles or something, most likely. And all the ads like come up and you have to kill them. Or like ads spawn in waves or something like that, and you have to kill them because if any of the ads that are left up at the end of that phase get consumed and the boss heals and gets damage. So that's the general overview of the fight. Basically, it's an ad management fight. While you just kill the boss, as long as you stay on top of ads, you can kill the boss eventually. There's been plenty of fights like this, right? And it's usually a case of like, you can do the fight forever as long as you make sure you stay on top of ads. If you get behind on ads, oh, great example, Bloodbound Horror, right? That sounds basically like what this boss is. Bloodbound Horror, you're sending people downstairs into a different phase. They have to kill the ads. If the ads reach the boss, you get fucked. Basically the same thing is really what this sounds like. That's a really good comparison. I don't know why I didn't think of that first. But okay, so let's go through it. Let's see what it actually says up in here. So I did read like the first mechanic, which is called Consume. So it sounds like just an AoE for 10 seconds. Every 2 seconds, it's doing physical damage. At the end of it, everybody is knocked back and it consumes any ads that are still up. So it sounds like you do have a timer. You have a timer based off of this, whenever this mechanic happens, to kill any ads that are like in reality. I think it doesn't actually say whether it consumes all ads that are in reality. Does this only consume ads that are in main phase, or does it consume ads in downstairs phase too? And I put that up here instead of in the question section because that's more of just like a question that's going to be directly answered by the mechanic. It's not really something that's like, can you exploit this mechanic or exploit anything like class related for a mechanic? That's just like how the mechanic works. So yeah, does this actually consume all ads everywhere or just ads that are in reality phase? But it sounds like you have a timer to kill all the ads before the boss will consume them, so you can't just permanently CC them. Stops you from permanently CCing ads. Oh, but there is a question in here, is that do cycloned ads get consumed at the end of consume cast? Which I'm sure if they did, they would fix that, but maybe they wouldn't. Okay. So there's that. Rift Emergence. Chimera unleashes a roar, inflicting damage to all players. and causing manifestations to emerge. Okay, emerge as in they are downstairs? Not sure. So I am like writing out every mechanic here, especially because, you know, with less add-ons, no add-ons in beta, of course, because usually never anything never works anyway, so you're playing without weak auras. But in live as well, you're going to be having no add-ons. Knowing the actual mechanic names is going to be important and what they do, because you're not just going to have like soak, dodge, whatever, frontal. So knowing the actual mechanic names is important. Bond's Rift, so does AoE nature damage to everyone and starts spawning ads. Okay, not clear if they spawn in main phase or downstairs, but sure. Okay, so it sounds like it starts spawning ads. Sounds like this is when ads start spawning downstairs, based off of the next mechanic that I just kind of glanced at. So Rift Sickness. Each coalesced manifestation in the Aln radiates energy to all players, causing them to absorb their next healing received. To all players, period? Okay, so that's your reasoning for not leaving ads up. Okay, gotcha. This is their way of not allowing you to just leave ads up in the Aln forever. So all ads still in the downstairs phase. Put constant stacking heal absorb on all players everywhere. Okay. So that answers this question. Boom. Perfect. Okay. Does that make sense? So you can't leave ads alive downstairs forever. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's their shield. So Alm Shroud is just shield on ads in downstairs phase. Okay. Leaves behind Alm Dust Essence. Let's try and find that first. What is Alm Dust Essence? What's the Alm Dust Essence? Anybody? Anybody? Is that an area denial? This is a minion that's just not listed. Haunting Essence. Alright, doesn't say. Okay. So when broken, leaves behind, oops. Leaves behind Alm Dust Essence. Not clarified. Maybe area denial? That's what I think it's going to be. So maybe you have to like kill these in specific areas. I don't know if the ads are actually active downstairs. I kind of assume they are. Yeah, actually, like they have to be active downstairs because when they're upstairs, all they do is try and walk to the boss, I'm pretty sure. So when the ads are downstairs, they're active. And then maybe wherever you kill them leaves a puddle. Maybe. Okay. So then ads. We have the Colossal Horror. Discordant Roar, which does what? AoE physical damage. To all players within 50 yards. Downstairs players only, question mark. Each cast ramps damage by 10%. Think, what was that guy's name? Ulgrax. Intermission roars. Gotcha. Okay. And then it also does a tank hit. I don't care about. Okay. Haunting Essence. Interruptible cast. So it says. Okay. Nature damage every 1 second. The players within 50 yards for 3 seconds and causing them to flee in fear. Okay. So AoE nature damage for 3 seconds that also fears all players in 50 yards. This is a must interrupt. Okay. And then Essence Bolt. Tremor total? Question mark? So let me add that down here. Can you tremor totem the AoE fear from haunting essence? Okay. And then Essence Bolt. This is interruptible single target cast at random player. Nature damage. Don't really need much more than that. Makes perfect sense. Okay, and then little minions. Stormy Shade, little tank minions. Okay. All right, so Chimeras feasts on any manifestations in reality within its reach, gaining cannibalized essence for every manifestation consumed. So maybe you also have to like kite the boss around. Okay. Cannibalized essence, as we said, damage increase, healing increase, or massive heal. Doesn't say it has a time limit on that. So yeah. Okay. Then other mechanics. Consuming miasma. A minute long debuff. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. This is where On Dust ties back in. Ties back in. On Dust essence. So dispelling consuming miasma. Dispellable minute long debuff does nature dam every 1.5 seconds. Think Soul Hunters dispel. When dispelled, sucks up all on dust essence within 10 yards. So yeah, sounds like I was right. On dust essence is definitely an area denial. When dispelled, deals AoE nature dam puts natured 6-second dot on all players within 10 yards. So nobody else can be around them. Okay. Nobody can be around person when dispelled, and they need to be standing near area denial puddles. Again, this is similar to Olgrax P1 web debuff, but that didn't have a dispel. But it's similar mechanic. Okay. So definitely sounds like area denial based on consuming miasma debuff on heroic. So stack adds in specific place to break shield. Who knows if the ads are grippable? We'll find out. Caustic Phlegm, healer mechanic. Caustic Phlegm. AoE, 12 seconds. Nature Dam. To all players. Okay. Can alter time that pretty well. As long as you don't need it for movement. Do I care about Rending Tear? Yes, I do. All right, slash in the direction of the nearby target. Okay, so frontal at a nearby target. Fizz damage and 6-second bleed. Frontal may just kill you. Okay. So dodge frontal. Just at a nearby target. I don't know what exactly that's going to mean. Is that the tanks or is that just anyone just turn frontal? Maybe on tanks or anyone like Sultan Court. Okay, this is the tank soak that sends people down. You have 40 seconds in the other phase. Have 40 like Bloodbound Horror. Exactly like Bloodbound Horror. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's all of P1. And then we have P2, right? Which seems fairly simple from what I understood from the overview. Oh, look, it's all these same ads doing the same stuff. Okay. Oh, that's different. There's All Dust Essence. Yeah, it's area now. Okay. That just wasn't in the other part of it, but sure. All Dust Essence is definitely area denial. All Dust Essence. Man, I'm so good at guessing this shit. But yeah, there. I don't know why it's not in the upstairs part, but sure. Area denial with movement speed reduction. Yeah, okay, cool. So P2, boss flies in the air. Corrupted devastation. Sweeps across platform, exhaling corruption onto players below, inflicting massive damage to players standing in the impact area. The speed corruption coalesces manifestation. Okay, so boss flies into air. I don't remember the name of the boss that kind of did this from Avarice. It was like experiments boss or something like that. I don't know, chat, if you remember. I didn't do Avarice, so I only did it during Fated, which means I only killed it like once or twice. But yeah, there was the fight where you're fighting like 2 or maybe 3 bosses, and then there's the intermission where they like go up and they like fly paths through. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Flies into the air. Is he attackable in air? Like Soul Hunters? Who knows? Does flight does breaths field that will kill you. Breath spawn adds. Okay. Makes sense. And leaves behind area denial. Be absorbed by dispel. Okay. So I assume that it's because these ads that spawn aren't going to have the shield. So I think the ads that are downstairs have the shield, so that when you kill them, they leave then when you break the shield, it leaves the puddle. But these ads are going to be spawning upstairs. So they likely won't have the shield. So this breath path just spawns the area denial. That makes sense. Okay. He also casts Ravenous Dive. Okay, so this was what? Corrupted Devastation. Okay. We have Ravenous Dive, which is ends intermission. Fizz dam to all players plus knockback. You can think sticks intermission end. Lots of things to dwarf racial on this boss if you want to. Lots of physical damage to players instead of just tanks, which is interesting. Consumes all remaining ads. Oh. On normal difficulty, this mechanic consumes area denial since you don't have the debuff, the dispel. The dispel is heroic mechanic. Okay. Okay. Also does healer. Is it the AoE in P2? Same as before. Consuming miasma. Same as before. Oh, there you go. 99% damage reduction in air. Okay. All right. Well, that's the first boss of raid testing. That seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So yeah, this overview, pretty correct. You have a tank mechanic where you get sent downstairs. You can really just think of this like Bloodbound Horror from Nerebar Palace. Tank mechanic, you group soak it, get sent downstairs, kill ads. When you kill the ads, it leaves area denial. Well, you're not killing the ads. You're breaking the ads shield. When you break the ads shield, it leaves area denial. The ads get sent upstairs, and then the ads try to walk to the boss. So you're going to want to always be tanking the boss away from wherever the downstairs players are tanking the ads. So that you don't have them come up and then just immediately hit into boss. Once they come upstairs, you want to slow them, kill them. Can't stack them on boss for that, unfortunately, because they'll get consumed. But yeah, you slow them, you kill them. Other things that are happening upstairs is that you get a dispellable debuff. You can think of this like soul hunters because you want to stand next to the area denial to be dispelled, but you don't want to stand next to other players. It's a 10-yard effect. So yeah, there's that. You have AoE damage. There was no like dodge circles as far as I'm aware, which I believe that's potentially on purpose. So I think from their discussions that they've had about like the whole add-on purge and everything is that like they've had to add in these little like trivial mechanics that forced you to like pay attention harder and deal with extra shit at the same time to combat like weak auras. Because like weak auras can't solve dodging a circle for you. Like you just have to dodge a circle. You have to be paying attention. You have to see where the circle's under your feet and you have to dodge it if it's there. But when you don't have weak auras to solve the other problems for you, having to also dodge circles and solve those other problems might be too difficult. So like this is the first boss fight that I've read in a long time where I don't see anything that says dodge circles. Because that used to be like the number one thing on every single boss fight is every boss fight has some sort of dodge circles, dodge lines. You're dodging something. Some shit spawns on the floor, you dodge it. So that may be an interesting thing that might go away with the add-on change. So I don't see any dodge circle stuff here. But other than that, this seems to make sense. I don't really even have that many questions, right? I answered this question. Maybe you can solo soak the group soak thing. Maybe you only want to do this if you're close to killing the boss before intermission. Maybe you only want to do this to kill boss before next intermission. You'll be taking constant raid-wide heal absorb, so may not be worth it. Decycloned ads get consumed at the end of the banish, or banished. And can you trim to the AoE fear? I mean, you wouldn't want to have to do this. You would want to just make sure you interrupt it because that would be really shit. But yeah. Oh, okay. That's a pretty straightforward one. Makes a lot of sense. I don't think there's any problems. Trying to envision. Does Raid Plan IO have a boss area for this yet? Oh, we do. Beautiful. Okay. So this is your boss area. So that's pretty big. I really wonder if you can see the ads from upstairs and you can like know where they are, so you can kind of know where you want to go downstairs. Like if the tank mechanic is targeted on the tank and the tank can move it, can you like move it on top of where the ads are, or is it just like wherever the tank is at the certain time? But yeah, this looks like, I mean, I don't have scale, but it looks like a decently big playing area. So movement will be important. Okay. Well, that is the first boss of testing, and that all makes sense to me. I don't really have that many questions. If you guys have any questions that maybe you think I might be able to answer right now, ask them, or questions that I can test next week, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to move on to Aversian, whatever the hell name that is. What place is that in? It's going to be in the other one. Yeah. Imperator Aversian. All right, let's get it. This is in the Void Spire. So that's the one boss raid, by the way. So the 6 boss and the 1 boss raid released at the same time, right? Looks like that one boss is basically on the difficulty of like a 2nd or 3rd boss, kind of what this looks like. I mean, it's basically just Bloodbound horror with slight combination of Olgrax mechanics, kind of sort of like the sticks knockbacky thing. But it's mostly like Bloodbound horror. Obviously tuning will be dependent, but it kind of seems like a 2nd or 3rd boss level issue. And that's for the first boss of that raid, so you should be able to kill that almost immediately. And then we are testing the 6th boss raid, which will be the main raid coming out on expansion launch until the 2 boss raid comes out later. Obviously, we're not testing the last boss, Crown of the Cosmos. But this will be Aversian. All right, so let's check out the overview. And let's make sure we just understand what the hell they're talking about. Oh, and wait, first we can, oh, did I close that? Unfortunate. First, we can just take a look at the boss model and the area. So this is Imperator Aversian. Interesting. Okay, we'll keep this in mind. Looks like maybe some orbs for spawning things or something like that. This pattern on the floor is interesting, reminding me of Lumithar. Okay. Check out the boss model. Ooh, big boy, and just a ton of different ads. Okay, like 3 of these are just different void rifts. Sure. Bro, they almost have more ads than you can see on here. Holy shit. All right. Okay, overview, and also let's open up all of the abilities for later. And there's all his ads, and there's all his ads abilities, and there's all his ads abilities. Jesus. Thought it was gonna be simple. I thought it was gonna be a simple first fight with a couple mechanics, and we'd get in and out. Nope, here we are. All right. Also, I'm only looking at this on heroic because we're testing heroic next week. Yeah, I'll go back after and like add any other mythic mechanics. But I'm only focusing on heroic for next week. Okay. He uses Shadow's Advance, which does a what? Summons Void Shapers onto the battlefield, inflicting shadow damage within 10 yards of their location and knocking them back. Okay, so he summons ads to claim territory in the battlefield. Once a space is void claimed, it cannot be retaken. While Eversian is within 10 yards of a void claimed space, his damage done increases by 75%, and his damage received is reduced by 90%. Okay. And does Shadow's Advance spawn a void claimed space? Not sure yet. Okay. Maybe when the ads die, it becomes a void claim space. So basically, this seems like another fight, like where they're trying to get you to not stack ads on top of the boss. Kinda, maybe. If a Versian claims 3 adjacent territories in a row, he unleashes the March of the Endless. So you die with 3 adjacent portals empowering each other, tears open the void, unleashing the Endless March every 1 second until everybody dies. Okay. So you... Alright, interesting. 3 adjacent portals. So thinking of this room, that's like these, I guess. Kind of what that looks like. Maybe the corners. Okay. Dark tears form over... Wait, what? Causing an umbral collapse on a territory being taken prevents its capture. Okay, so this is how you stop it from being captured. So basically, the boss is going to spawn ads in a quadrant or section of the room, and you have to, what, kill the ads. Eversian collapses void energy around his target, destroying void shapers and inflicting shadow damage to all players. Reduced by the number of players within 10 yards of the impact. So again, a group soak. Destroys void shapers. So you put the group soak on the void shapers to kill them. Additional shadow damage inflicted every 1 second as players within 10 yards of the impact location. So it's a group soak, and then those people also take a dot after. Okay. So I wonder if ads spawn in multiple territories at a time. Dark tears form over territories Eversian controls, allowing a portion of his forces to come through these tears. These tears grow larger as the battle progresses, summoning stronger foes to enter the field. Okay, so I'm a little confused as to how this boss is going to work. Just a little bit. So he spawns ads to stop a void claim from happening on a territory. You have to have an umbral collapse happen, which sounds like just an ability the boss uses. Which then kind of makes sense to me that you would just have multiple areas being claimed at a time, so you have to choose who you want to save. Okay. So I'm a little confused, so we'll go and read through stuff before I write down the overview. So the Emerald Collapse destroys the Void Shapers as well. Summons Void Shapers onto the battlefield. Knocks back anybody within 10 yards. The Void Shapers, powerful casters, able to manipulate the void and drown all who oppose. Sure. Tears a hole into the void, causing a cosmic eruption and claiming the space for Imperator. Sure, okay, so they're the ones who claim the space. Umbral Barrier, enshrouded by a void, reduces damage 99% taken, unless impacted by an Umbral Collapse. Okay, so Umbral Collapse just breaks their barrier, doesn't actually kill them. Okay. Abyssal harnesses void energy and blasts random players, so interruptible cast. Yep. Full power, the Void Shaper transforms into the Obscurian Endwalker. What is that? Anybody? Obscurian Endwalker? Doesn't mention it. All right, cool. Bet. Love that. Obscurian Endwalker. Okay. As reality tears apart, a cosmic eruption forms that inflicts shadow damage and additional damage to each player for 6 seconds caught in the blast. Okay, so what it sounds like is boss spawns shielded main ads that try to, that if left up will take over a space. To remove them, you have to hit them with tank mechanic group soak. Okay. To remove their barrier, their shield. Okay. Sure. If ads left up, they will eventually claim the space. And if 3 spaces next to each other are claimed, you wipe. Okay. Sounds like another ad management fight. But it's unclear to me exactly how that works. Boss also spawns void tears. Wait, so the void tears come from what? Dark tears come from claimed areas. So any territory claimed by boss spawns more ads and spawns more ads faster later the longer fight goes on. Okay, so that's like you're in rage. Okay, it kind of makes sense, right? There's some, the boss is going to spawn void. That's not what they're called. It's these guys before they turn into these guys. So I guess it's these guys then. So the boss is going to spawn some of these guys, maybe like here, 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 or something like that. And they're going to be shielded, and you need to hit them with the tank group soak to break their shield so that you can kill them. If you don't break their shield and kill them in time, they will claim this entire territory. I don't know, maybe it's like that or something. For the boss, which will then also spawn ads from here. And I assume there's going to be multiple at a time, so that you have to choose which ones you're going to break and which ones you don't. So like you would probably like break a middle one or something. I assume they're coming from like these orbs. I don't know if it's going to be like one for these two or like one for each one. Something like that. No idea. But yeah, that kind of seems like what's going to happen. Also spawn these ads. They're shielded. You can't do anything to them till you hit them with the tank mechanic, which is also a group soak. And then you kill them. If you don't kill them, or whichever ones you choose to not kill, will claim the territory and spawn ads. And those territories will continue to spawn ads forever. Also, all of these guys have an interruptible cast. Sure. So you only get actual ads when a territory is claimed. Otherwise, it's just these main guys that are not DPSable until you break their shield. Okay, so the ads that spawn. Okay. So let's go to mechanics and questions. So let's just put him down. Shadows advance. Spawns abyssal void shapers. And deals damn plus knocks back anyone within 10 yards of area. Okay. And then abyssal void shapers. 99% shield until hit with tank group soak. They have an interruptible cast called Lights End. Interruptible. Single target, random cast. Okay. Da, 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 da. If not killed, they will claim the territory and turn into Obscurian Endwalker. Unknown. Claimed territory spawns as for rest of fight. Yep. Okay, so that's the main ad. Then we have the other ads. Void Maw. Wow, I can't spell tonight. Probably because I'm extremely tired. Maybe tankable ad. No idea. Gnashing Void is a dot, stacking dot. Okay. Slowed by 75% when below 35% HP. We'll try to run to void claimed space when below 30% HP, and if reaches, will heal to full. Yep. Okay. So, yep, it's Molly. Shadow Guard, Stalwart. Thinkable. Okay. Interruptible cast. Pitch Bulwark. Interruptible cast that will shield ads and boss. Okay. So required interrupt. Shadow Phalanx is what? They shield the Void Shapers. Okay. That's annoying as fuck. Stand around Void Shapers and create barrier that knocks players away. So you have to kill these guys. Must kill these guys in order to get close to the Void Shapers. That's really fucking annoying. But alright, makes sense. The Void Ball, it's already insane. Void claimed. Boss can't be tanked within 10 yards of void claimed space, or does 75% increase dam and takes 90% reduced dam. Okay, and then there's the Umbral Collapse, which is the pancake group soak that must be placed on a Void Shaper. Says it destroys Void Shapers, but not clear if it just breaks their shield or kills them. Okay. Yep. This is Shadow Dam. Like everything on this fight is Shadow Dam. puts 6-second shadow dot on all soakers. Okay. Oblivion's Wrath. Did they accidentally put Forge Reaver's name in here? Raz? His name's Aversian. I'm pretty sure that's actually wrong. That's funny. Just slamming the old boss name in there. Oh yeah. That's good. We like that. Unleashes Void Raptors in the direction of a player. Okay, so maybe dodge lines from boss towards player. Targeted at player. Lines is questionable. Does damn and knocks back. So think of like avoidable version of Dimensius P2 lines. Dark Upheaval. Healer Mechanic. Large AoE hit to all players. Plus a dot after. Doesn't specify length of dot, so maybe it lasts forever. Does this happen on pull? Seems like it might happen once and then dot lasts for whole fight. Not clear. Okay. Desolation. Okay, this is dodge circles. Nope, soak circles. Okay, this is individual soak circles. Missing a soak does raid wide dam. This is like canister soaks on Inerva in Castle Mathrion. Okay. I mean, it's a simple individual soak thing, right? It usually always kills people if it doesn't get soaked. Voidfall. Knocks back players. And does 7-yard dodge circles. Okay. March of the Endless. Yeah, we know that. If 3 adjacent portals are claimed, you raid wipe. Okay, Blackening Wounds. Tank Mechanic. Does what? I don't care. Imperator's Glory. God damn it. Cannot stack ads on boss. Or the ads get damn amp and reduce damn. I knew they were going to work this in there. All right, well, that's annoying. So this sort of then sounds like once ads are spawning, this sort of sounds like Greedkeeper from Vault. Ads can't be within 10 yards of boss So maybe you have a ad kill team and boss kill team. Kind of what it sounds like. That everybody's on boss at first, and then like once the first ads start to spawn, you kind of just have to have some people go deal with the ads. Okay, you have your usual group soak things. The barrier is interesting. So questions. Can you blink over the barrier created by, what was the ad's name? Stalwart. Not sure if it would be helpful, but it is interesting. Oh, because then this would be like maybe monk transcend and then just soak it with like 7 mages. How much damage does it do? Ooh, does damage to all players. Okay. Um, does raid wide dam reduced by players soaking? Soaks. So potentially can't solo soak. What's our health bar going to be? Maybe you can. Monk transcend plus mage soaks. Okay. So yeah, there's that barrier that maybe you can try and play around. What else? What else? What else? What else? You want to take the ads away from this void claim space so that the smallies don't immediately walk into the void claim space when they're about to die. Drops and stuff like that will be very helpful for controlling the ads as they're dying. I hope you don't have to kill these and that you just hit it with the tank soak and then dies. I don't know how many are going to spawn, but we'll figure that out immediately. That's a required interrupt. Don't know how many of those ads are going to spawn either. Okay, so that's a very simple, like boss does no mechanics. It's all just ads for the most part. Boss does just individual soak circles. Okay, so who can we compare this to as a fight? Sort of sounds like, no, that was like a single target boss. It's a little bit novel, but like all of the mechanics are from things you've done before. They're just all put into a boss that's kind of different from all the other bosses. Because they haven't combined them in that way before. But I mean, it's an ad management fight, right? You keep the boss away from the ads. You kill the boss as fast as possible, and then you have this potentially interesting, but almost certainly not interesting choice between like which void shaper do you hit with the group soak. The group soak have a debuff thing on it. No. Does not put debuff on soakers, so same team can soak every time. So that definitely makes me think like mage soakers, mage slash monks slash warlocks. They all have ports. Yo, if true, um, if you can soak with all port classes, do you even need to kill the stalwarts? If they cast their shield, their barrier forever, it also means you don't have to interrupt their cast that will shield boss. That would be interesting. It's certainly an overcook for first boss, but it's interesting. I mean, first boss, you're just going to handle like a first boss, right? It's not going to matter, but That's an interesting thought. Okay. Well, that's it. There's not much else there. So let's look at Mythic. What changes on Mythic? More ads. Yep. Mythic spawns new ads. Oh, this is called a different ad. This is a... Wait, there's a Nightshade and a Void Shaper now? Okay, so the Nightshade just blasts people. Okay. Okay. This is a new ad, it looks like. Why is he not listed in Heroic at all? Don't know. Okay, so it's got like 2 new ads here. Portals open. Oh, the Void Moths get something different. They're no longer slowed before below 35%. Okay. 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 What's Voidfall? That's the same, but then it adds this. Oh, so it's Anduin intermission from Shadowlands Sepulchre. You're dodging shit on the ground and you have a wall of troops walking through. Okay, got it. Sure, that's some decent differences. And then, because these are the only 2 bosses I'm going to do for right now, I want to check mythic differences on this guy. Getting within 8 yards of people in the opposite realm hits you hard. Targeted players with All Inside are lost to Rift Madness after 5 seconds. Whoa, that's dope. That's a dope mechanic. Okay. So also on Mythic. So random players in downstairs go crazy, dealing damage to other downstairs players within 6 yards and taking an increasing dot forever. Players in upstairs can stand on top of them to swap places with them and get rid of the debuff. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's dope. Anything else? Mythic difficulty coalesces additional manifestations in the Alm. Okay, so during intermission, the boss breaths also spawn ads downstairs that will be shielded and be putting out a heal absorb. And I don't even know if you can go down and kill them or if they just exist, so you have more to deal with. Okay, yeah, there you go. Right before intermission, boss casts another group soak to send people downstairs to deal with the downstairs ads. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Yep. All right, cool. This boss sounds pretty cool then. On Mythic for sure. This boss, I don't know. It's just an ad management fight. And I have no idea how it's going to play out. All right. We have gone through the first 2 bosses that we will be testing on Heroic on Wednesday. I'll try and go through the next 2 tomorrow. So that would be this one, Vracian and Salhadar. Nexus King, what's up? And then the ones after that will be this one, and this one. So I'll try to do 2 tomorrow, and then maybe I'll do 3 on Monday. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope some of this information was helpful for you. I'll continue to be doing this prep, as I said, tomorrow on Monday, hopefully. And then we will have the raid testing on Wednesday and Thursday, which I should be able to go to both of them. I'll also have raid on Tuesday night, obviously, where hopefully I can bolster up some of my dependent on the team parses, which are Soul Hunters, Nexus King, and Dimensius. Dimensius, I can absolutely 99 parse this. I got hit by somebody by their line on a last second move, which caused me to get knocked during my shifting power, so I lost 6 seconds on my Subs the Magi. I can do that. That'll be easy. Try and position even further away from anybody else to stop that from happening. Nexus King is really going to be dependent on like when do other people decide to do enough damage on platforms to where we kill them earlier, or are people mis-targeting the boss in P2 so the dragon dies early during the damage amp, or do we just kill the boss really early in P3 and I don't get to finish my CDs? That's kind of what all those are dependent on. Soul Hunters is just like that, purely kill time dependent. Every pull we've killed it so far has killed it right when my CDs are about to come up again, which makes it impossible for me to get better than 96. But yeah, I mean, these 3, I think I can for sure 99 all of them. I was rank 1ing Nexus King. I had at least 1 rank 1 pull on Dimensius. They got wiped in P3. And then I'm sure I can 99 this fight if we just get a better kill time, or a worse kill time, honestly, because that's what happened with Lumathar. We got a significantly worse kill time because a bunch of people died. And we ended up killing the boss literally like 3 seconds after my CDs ended. So I got like a world rank 7 at the time. So yeah. All right, that is all for me tonight. I will see you guys again tomorrow.